Hey everybody, my name is Avialence, and welcome yourselves to DayZ Standalone. This is a moment that a lot of us have been waiting for. DayZ Standalone has finally been released. However, it's very important to notice that this game is still in alpha and will likely follow the same development that the mod did, with, the community taking a very active role in improving the game as it is developed. So DayZ Standalone was released. It was released on December 16th, which was a Monday, and it is priced for $29.99 on Steam. I bought it through Steam, however, it's also come to my attention that you can buy it through their website as well, and there are 2 official downloads for that. However, they are not different. They will both be running the same client and everything like that, so do not be worried. Definitely worth the money, I'll tell you right off the bat, but we'll go over a couple things in the first impressions video here as we dive into some gameplay. So I've spent about, I'd say, 12 hours playing the game at this point. I really dedicated my entire night and morning to playing the game, and the footage you're seeing here comes from when I optimized the game a bit. So it is tough to get it optimized. I noticed that I've been having graphical problems lately with my graphics card, so the footage is not even close to, high quality. I'm running everything around normal quality. But just to give you guys the heads up on that, it does look a lot better. Now, when you turn everything up graphically, it does run at a slower frame rate. I was running at about 24 frames a second. Most of what you're seeing here is 32 to 40 frames a second. I don't know if the game is entirely optimized yet. My guess would be no, because it is an alpha. So beware for all of you who are having difficulties running the DayZ Arma 2 mod, the actual mod itself. You're probably going to have difficulties running this as well. So, moving on though, I do want to talk about something that I was really pleasantly surprised by. Now, that is the idea that this game contains elements from Arma 2 and Arma 3. Most of the movement and control scheme does remain from Arma 2, however, they added a couple new features. The nice thing is the inventory system, which is honestly an improved inventory system over Arma 2's, where you had all the different pockets and stuff that you can combine. It's simple, easy to open, and it also allows you to access a hotbar, which is really, really nice. Now, the inventory system is opened by pushing tab, so for all of you who are going into the game trying to figure it out, it is tab. It is not G or I anymore, and it does work quite well. You're able to drag and drop items, and surprisingly, the inventory system is not glitchy at all. Everything that I clicked on, I was able to tear up or, change around, move around into different things, and I didn't encounter any glitches when I was picking up gear, which was actually quite surprising. So, that's nice to have, especially for all you DayZ veterans who know how much of a pain it was when we first started playing the mod back in 2012. So, that's nice there. The movement controls are there. It's the same contextual lean feature. There's no of the advanced stances from Arma 3, which I'm honestly okay with, because I feel that DayZ is, I guess, complicated in its own way, and it didn't really need those stances, although some hardcore fans may be really craving those. I don't know if those are going to be added in later or anything like that, but I think for the purposes that the mod is trying to orchestrate right now, it does work well as far as the movement system goes. Now, as far as the new inventory system goes, you have set amounts of gear space depending on what you have. Obviously, you do want to pick a backpack up. There's tons of different backpacks out there, and the big thing too is the variety of gear. It feels harder to scavenge, and that's something that I noticed straight off the bat. You're not going to find a bunch of ammo or M4s or AK-47s in the firehouses anymore. You'll be lucky to find a handgun, but what you will find in the firehouses is what you would typically expect. Maybe a combat vest, maybe a small caliber handgun, or, some ammo, food, or more importantly, medical supplies. And that's one thing I wanted to touch on as well, which I discovered a little later. It is very hard to find bandages and medical kits in this game now, at least in my experience. And one thing that I really want to illustrate to you guys is that tear things down into rags. Now, this option comes up on a lot of contextual clothes, meaning t-shirts or, tops, anything of that nature where you can tear it down into rags. Rags are actually used as bandages. So you can get bandages fairly early in the game because you do no longer spawn with them. So if you're, having a difficult time exploring around and finding medical kits, I would recommend tearing as many things into rags as you possibly can, because those are used for bandages. The other thing, too, is there are new items, as you see right here, like the defibrillator. I don't know if that's used to, revive people, which I think would be insanely awesome if you could shock people back into life. I'm not quite sure if that's how it works, but, there's a lot of new items that I do want to explore. However, I can't really illustrate, what kind of elements are here. Now, the one thing I do want to point out, too, is that the weapon customization system from Arma 3 is in this game, which is great. There are tons of different attachments, and that's really what you're going to find in military tents nowadays. ACOG scopes, foregrips, different rail systems, laser sights, different scopes, and it actually allows you to fit your weapon to your needs. So I can have a hunter sniper scope on an M4 and use that at longer range, and then swap out an ACOG for that medium range or a holographic sight for at close range, which is actually kind of nice. The other thing that they added, which I think works well, is the fact that you see all of your gear. This is something that I've really been craving in a game like this, especially games like Fallout and stuff, where you see all the gear on your character and it is contextually there. So with the new hotbar system, whatever you have equipped will be visible on your character. As you can see right now, I have a pistol, an M4, and a fire axe. My pistol is located underneath my backpack, my rifle is located on my left shoulder, and my fire axe is located on my right shoulder. Now I'm able to store these, and it actually works quite well. The nice thing too is you can actually put these weapons away. This poor guy hatched it, and I kind of feel bad for it, but he didn't respond to my friendly calls. So basically the idea here is that you will be able to unequip or sheath your weapons, for lack of a better word, and then use those weapons as need be. But the nice thing about the sheathing is you can describe yourself as friendly, because obviously you cannot pull out your gun extremely quickly, but you know, it can qualify for some decent stuff. Definitely cool though. I mean, they've also added handcuffs, which I think is kind of interesting. If you have handcuffs and a handcuff key, you can actually handcuff another player. I have not done it myself, but I've heard rumors of it, and it's actually quite cool. So a lot of contextual items and situational items have been added to the game. Now, the one thing that I would also like to point out is that the new food and water system, as you can see, the HUD is very clear and clean. You're going to have to pay attention to what your character says in order to keep up with, you know, what he needs. So he will say, I am hungry, I am thirsty, I need rest. I haven't quite figured out the rest thing, because I'm not sure if you can actually sleep in the game, but if you can, someone tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear if that's actually possible. You'd probably die. But you have that there. And then you also, the food and water system now, you're just really going to have to pay attention. I've just been taking small swigs of water whenever my character prompts me, as well as food too. The nice thing about the food and the water is some of them, like a can of beans, is eliminated immediately when you use it. Same with the Coke can. But with water bottles and stuff, they actually have a percentage value, as you can see in my inventory now. And you can stock up on those and use those as you please. So it's actually quite nice. You can get 4 to 5 swigs of water out of a water bottle, and out of a canteen, you can get 6 to 7. So it's actually quite nice. The more gear you stock up, the more you're able to survive. You also have a bunch of different clothing slots, obviously. Gloves, boots, pants, jackets, overcoats, backpack, helmet, and then, you know, your eyeglasses or your face mask. I have noticed gas masks in the game. I'm not sure if there's radioactive areas or anything like that, but they are quite cool nonetheless. Overall, DayZ Standalone is quite impressive so far. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the changes that's been made. I do want it to be a little bit better optimized, or, you know, fix my graphics card, depending on which one is that. I like the idea that loot is more difficult to find. I like the idea that military rifles are more difficult to find, because it really discourages the elements of PvP and allows you to truly try to survive. It's quite nice and it works very well. The animations have also been drastically improved, and especially improved for Alpha, I must admit, as far as the gun carries go and everything like that. Everything looks nice. I like how your character actually shoulders his weapon as he would realistically, so to speak. It doesn't just instantly raise it, but you actually see an animation as he shoulders his weapon from a position. The running animations and everything look gorgeous, as you'll see towards the end of this video when I sprint across the field. And the idea of actually being able to pick up bullets and then fill them with magazines, etc., 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 is quite nice. Overall, DayZ Standalone is quite impressive, guys, and I know many of you are probably curious if I can show some unedited footage, which I will. You guys will see the unedited footage that I'm using here, because it did kind of cut it to best suit my abilities, right? But you will see that on this channel later. So if you're looking for more DayZ Standalone, please stay tuned to this channel. These are just my first impressions on DayZ Standalone, and I really hope you guys enjoyed them. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think of Standalone so far. Tell me if you've been enjoying it and if you're playing it. Also, if you've encountered any glitches or textual information that I may use in another video. But anyway, guys, stay tuned for more DayZ Standalone. Thank you so much for watching. I'm happy it's here, and I'm excited to go waste another 500 hours in Chernarus. And I hope you will join me in that element too. Have a good one, guys, and stay tuned for more DayZ unedited footage coming up later today. Thanks for watching.